The Potent Power of Silence, a Machiavellian Revelation. Machiavelli, a keen observer of human nature, understood a profound truth often overlooked: silence is the ultimate weapon in the arsenal of power. Throughout history, the most formidable strategists weren't the loudest voices, but those who mastered the art of saying nothing. A leader who reveals every thought becomes predictable, a general who announces their strategy invites defeat, a negotiator unable to hold their tongue loses before the battle even begins. In a world drowning in constant communication and the clamor to be heard, we've lost touch with the ancient wisdom that true power often resides in the unsaid. As Machiavelli noted, men judge more by the eye than by the hand, because everyone can see but few can feel. Everyone sees what you appear to be, few experience what you really are. This principle perfectly illustrates the strategic value of silence. Those who master it cultivate an aura of mystery and unpredictability, keeping others constantly off balance. Silence, strength, not weakness. Silence isn't an absence of power, it's its most refined expression. It's not weakness, but calculated strength. Most people find silence unbearable, feeling compelled to fill the void with words, explanations, and justifications. In their desperate attempt to break the discomfort, they inadvertently reveal their fears, desires, strategies, and weaknesses. Meanwhile, the master of silence observes, collects information, and gathers intelligence, learning precisely where to strike when the opportune moment arrives. In The Prince, Machiavelli advised rulers to speak rarely about matters of consequence, understanding that every word can become a liability, every statement a potential trap. Those who talk excessively hand their adversaries the very means to undermine them politically, socially, or strategically. The art of silence grants you time to think, while simultaneously compelling others to speak without forethought. Creating a vacuum for information. Machiavelli further elaborated in discourses on Livy that a wise leader allows others to bring their thoughts to him, rather than freely offering his own. This is the essence of strategic silence. It's not merely staying quiet, but creating a vacuum that others rush to fill with valuable information you can later leverage. Modern leaders often forget this simple truth, inundating the world with incessant commentary and revealing their hand prematurely. In contrast, those who truly grasp power speak only when it serves a specific purpose, to advance their position, mislead opponents, or after silence has already done its work. A powerful individual, Machiavelli noted, must learn to be a great pretender and dissembler. Applied to communication, this means understanding that not every thought demands expression, not every opinion requires voicing, and not every emotion needs acknowledgement. Speaking without purpose, strategy, or calculation is akin to charging blindly into battle. While luck might occasionally bring victory, such individuals will inevitably be outmaneuvered by those who wait, observe, and strike only when victory is assured. The psychological edge of silence. Silence creates mystique, and humans are naturally drawn to what they cannot fully comprehend. When someone remains quiet in a discussion, others often project depth, wisdom, authority, and control onto the silent figure, while simultaneously exposing their own insecurities through nervous chatter. This psychological mechanism grants the silent strategist an immediate advantage, even before a single word is spoken. Machiavelli understood that information asymmetry is the bedrock of power. The one who knows more than they reveal always holds the upper hand, while those who reveal more than they know surrender their advantage without realizing it. In any negotiation, conflict, or relationship, the party with greater information control dictates the terms. This makes silence not just tactically useful, but strategically essential. Timing and control. Silence also provides a crucial timing advantage. The person who speaks first often commits to a position, limiting their options. Conversely, the one who waits can adapt their response to changing circumstances, identify weaknesses, and pinpoint the optimal moment to act or speak. Machiavelli warned that nothing wastes so much as haste, a principle that applies doubly to communication. Hasty words reveal intentions, expose strategies, and eliminate the element of surprise. Countless individuals have undone themselves with impulsive statements, emotional outbursts, or unnecessary revelations that could have been avoided through disciplined silence. As Machiavelli emphasized in The Art of War, no enterprise is more likely to succeed than one concealed from the enemy until it is ripe for execution. This applies equally to communication. Thoughts kept concealed are sharp weapons. Plans kept private are surprises waiting to be unleashed. Masked intentions are advantages your opponent cannot counter. The multifaceted role of silence. Silence isn't merely the absence of speech, it's the carefully cultivated presence of power. True masters of silence understand its multifaceted functions. It protects information, creates mystery, compels others to reveal themselves, builds anticipation, maintains flexibility, demonstrates control, and establishes dominance, all without uttering a single word. There's a reason why in ancient courts and centers of power, the one who spoke least was often feared most. Silence communicates strength in a way words rarely can. Anyone can talk, but few can command attention through their mere presence, through the anticipation of their words, through the weight of their silence. In an age of social media, constant updates, and incessant noise, the person who masters silence immediately stands apart, mysterious, powerful, and in control. While others exhaust themselves with endless chatter, the silent observer watches, plans, calculates, and waits. The disciplined mind. Machiavelli noted that everyone sees what you appear to be, few experience what you really are. Strategic silence widens this gap between appearance and reality, allowing you to project strength while concealing weakness, and to appear resolute while maintaining flexibility. Every spoken word narrows possibilities and creates commitments, but silence keeps all doors open, all options available, and all strategies viable. Observe the masses in any interaction. Most cannot tolerate a moment of silence, they rush to fill it to escape discomfort. But the strategist, the Machiavellian thinker, intentionally creates and values this discomfort, knowing that human nature will compel others to speak, to reveal, to expose themselves, while the silent one gathers intelligence. Machiavelli observed that the most successful leaders knew how to display the appearance of virtue while acting according to necessity. Silence facilitates this dual approach, allowing one to appear agreeable while inwardly planning according to their true interests. Those who cannot control their words cannot control their destiny. They become predictable, manipulable, and transparent, while those who speak only with purpose, strategy, and when silence has served its function, maintain control over both the narrative and the outcome. Silence as an offensive weapon. Silence is not just a defensive tactic, it's an offensive weapon. It's not merely about protecting your own thoughts, but about using the discomfort of silence to extract the thoughts of others. The skilled practitioner of silence asks a question, then waits, not rushing to fill the void, but allowing the tension to build until the other person feels compelled to elaborate, justify, and reveal far more than they initially intended. This technique has been employed by the greatest interrogators, negotiators, and leaders throughout history, all intuitively grasping what Machiavelli formalized centuries ago, the power of strategic silence. Authority, observation, and timing. Silence also conveys authority. Those who speak only when necessary, choose their words with care, and allow silence to emphasize their statements are perceived as commanding and authoritative. In contrast, those who speak constantly without restraint find their words quickly losing value, becoming mere background noise. Machiavelli advised powerful figures to speak rarely, but to ensure their words carried weight. This applies equally to modern power dynamics, where attention is the scarcest resource in a culture drowning in information. Silence creates space for observation, study, and understanding one's opponents. Machiavelli stressed that anyone seeking influence must be a keen student of human nature. Silence facilitates this. When you are speaking, you cannot be listening or observing. But when you are silent, your senses are fully engaged, collecting data that will later prove decisive. Most people never develop this skill, too focused on being heard, on proving their intelligence, never realizing that with every unnecessary word, they diminish their power and reveal their insecurities. Machiavelli's insight that everyone sees what you appear to be, few experience what you really are, is perfectly exploited by strategic silence. This gap between appearance and reality widens, allowing others to project their assumptions onto you while you retain the freedom to act according to your true intentions. The silent individual becomes a mirror, reflecting back the hopes, fears, and expectations of others while revealing nothing of themselves. This is the essence of Machiavellian power dynamics: control over information, asymmetry of knowledge, and manipulation through selective revelation. There's a rhythm to power, a timing that Machiavelli intuitively grasped. Knowing when to speak and when to remain silent isn't just about self-control, but about controlling the entire dynamic of interaction, the flow of information, the balance of power, the momentum of events. Those who master this rhythm, understanding when silence serves them better than speech, and recognizing the precise moment for maximum impact, possess an advantage that transcends mere tactical consideration. It becomes strategic dominance. The discipline of silence. Machiavelli warned that nothing is more difficult to handle, more doubtful of success, nor more dangerous to manage, than to put oneself at the head of introducing new orders. This applies equally to communication. The first to speak, to commit, to reveal, sets themselves up as a target. Those who wait, observe, and maintain their silence gain the advantage of response, adaptation, and calculated counter. A mind that speaks without restraint is an open book, easily read, predicted, and manipulated. A mind that reveals itself selectively, strategically, and intentionally, remains a mystery, a puzzle others cannot solve.